Leveling up in life as a young man isn't just about all the standard advice that you hear online, don't eat junk food, meditate for 50 hours a day, don't play video games. Like, you've heard all of that stuff before, right? And that's because that stuff is really important. But what fascinates me about these things is that they all have one thing in common, right? And that is that they're all boring as fuck, man. And that brings me to the main question of this video, which is boredom the true key to success as a young man? I can't believe that I used to live like this, man. I'd wake up late and the first thing I would do is grab my phone and instantly go through the explore page on Instagram to find like these half-naked, sexy Instagram models just so I could like beat one off to them, because I don't know, I was just like this horny little boy, and honestly I would just lay there in my crusty bed after I'd released myself. That's just not vulgar at all, but yeah, like that's the truth. And after that I would just continue to indulge in more instant gratification, and I would just constantly go through Snapchat stories, rechecking notifications and watching YouTube videos. And then, to be honest, I'd probably go back through the Instagram explore page once again just to kind of go for round two. But yeah, that was pretty much how I used to be a couple of years ago. Not anymore, thank God. But the point is, I repeated my mornings like this pretty frequently, which, let's be honest, is arguably the worst way to start off your day every single day, right? I mean, I'd still be in bed like 5 hours later, like no joke whatsoever. And it's only now that I'm able to look back and realize that the reason that I did this for so long is because I was just trying to escape boredom. I constantly needed to be stimulated by something, and the main thing that I could use in that instance was my phone, because it gave me what I wanted. But what I needed was to be able to appreciate the value of being still and being present, which initially was really boring for me. But eventually I feel like this is how I initially was able to start working on my purpose, and this is how I was able to get the confidence to be able to step into the ring to fight another man. And this is how I was able to gain the confidence to start posting videos on YouTube and gain over 1,000 subs. And I'm not saying that's millions, because obviously it's not, but it's still something, isn't it? And yeah, I'm pretty proud of it actually. But essentially I started learning about dopamine detoxing and how I could actually train my brain to be more present and to just think for itself instead of being just this NPC. And here are the things that I learned about and started doing to achieve this mindset, so that maybe you can do them too if you want to start achieving a bit more in your life. So first of all, I have add friction, okay? Because generally speaking, the harder something is to access, the less likely you are to do it, okay? So, if you know that your phone, for example, is the most distracting thing for you, like it was for me, you want to find a way to make it harder to access, okay? So for me, for example, at night, I would literally just switch it off, and I'd literally put it in another room before going to sleep, so that it was impossible for me to wake up in the morning and just go on it for like 5 hours straight like I used to in the past. This meant that when I would wake up in the morning, I would do something that was actually beneficial, okay? And another thing that I did to make this whole experience of me going on my phone less interesting was actually by putting it into black and white mode. And you can do this too. You can do it in your settings. Like, you don't even have to pay for an app or anything. You just have to go to your settings and, you can get rid of the color aspect of your phone. And this basically makes it less likely for you to get distracted, because obviously when you go on your phone and all the apps are, in different colors, they attract you. That's why you end up going from Instagram to YouTube to whatever else you're doing, as like for me, back onto the explore page on Instagram. The second thing you want to be doing, or I would suggest that you do, is to start thinking long term instead of short term, okay? Because they have literally done studies, right, that literally prove that the majority of successful people are able to prioritize thinking about long-term fulfillment as opposed to cheap short-term happiness. So essentially, people who are able to repeatedly focus on where they want to be in the future actually make better decisions in the present, like in the moment now. They're more likely to stay consistent, and they're more likely to be able to sustain being able to do things like eating healthy food and do the hard work and make wiser decisions in general. So you have to stop thinking about trying to satisfy yourself in the short term. Like, yes, you know, there might be a family-sized bar of chocolate waiting for you in the cupboard downstairs, but realistically, what's going to benefit you more? Is it going to be eating that great big bar of chocolate, or is it going to be eating, like, I don't know, a healthy carrot or something instead? And obviously that's the boring choice, right? Eating the carrot is the boring choice, but that's the whole premise of this video, right? It's that the boring shit is kind of like the important shit. It's the beneficial shit, man. Now, the third thing that I would suggest you do is to pick up the guides, man, because something that the majority of people find boring, and including my past self actually, was reading, okay? But by thinking about the long term and detoxing my brain from being addicted to instant stimulation, I was able to revert myself to more of this natural state where I needed like less stimulation, and seemingly boring tasks like reading became more appealing to me. And this meant that I could start reaping the main reward that reading provides to people, which is, of course, being able to learn from other people's mistakes and other people's successes and just experiences as a whole. And just so you know, some life-changing books that I have read and that I'd recommend for young men are The 4-Hour Workweek, Unscripted, and The 3% Man. And then after you've read them three, you can, you know, open literally a whole new world of learning and books. But yeah, I'd say these are a good three to start with. And now for the fourth thing is to work those glutes, sweet cheeks. Right. I wrote this like a few weeks ago, so I don't actually remember putting that in there. But working glutes is really important, man. And just going to the gym in general, obviously, I just feel like glutes are really neglected. Like, men tend to think that it's like gay or something, I don't know. But at the end of the day, you don't need me to tell you the importance of going to the gym, because you've already heard this a million times. And it's true, you know, most of us men don't like to train our glutes. And one of those reasons, besides from the fact that we think it's for girls or something, is because it's extremely boring, you know. The idea of it is extremely boring, but actually this is like probably the most important muscle that you're not training. Because as soon as I started training it, and as soon as I just realized that I don't actually give a shit about the stigma, it allowed me to kind of like level up my body in other areas. I was able to gain muscle all over the rest of my body because it allowed me to like edge my testosterone, which is something that most men don't think about when it comes to this exercise. So yeah, man, just consider that. And if you want to increase your muscle mass even more, you know, you can get my free diet plan from the description below. And if you have any questions about any of this video, join my free Discord and we can talk about it, man. Like, that'd be pretty cool, I think. Believe you can, and you're more than halfway there.